Welcome to Almost Functional Gaming. We aim to help all followers of Russ and the Allfather to improve on the tabletop. List building, tournament recaps, unit reviews, weekly council of the Fang, and other tips to help us all go from almost functional to fully functional. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional score tracker on Amazon.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Here with Aiden again for another Council of the Fang.
Happy Tuesday. Glad to be back. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing good. A little overwhelmed. Just got a lot of life stuff going on, but I'm always tuned into the Wolves, painting and building every week, man.
Yep. And you were telling me you got a big event coming up on the 9th, August?
Yeah, big event August 9th. It's a GT. It is a golden ticket event up in Fredericksburg. I'm excited to go to that. Just kind of tweaking the last kind of 500 points of the list. I'm also kind of seeing if I want to switch up attachments. But yeah, a lot to think about in the next couple of weeks. How about you? You got any events coming up?
Yeah, I got a few. I got a little one this week that I'm actually hosting here at the Almost Functional HQ. And then the weekend after that, I'm going to a GT. And then end of August, I'll be up in Virginia for Nova. And then in September, I got another major in Orlando. So I got a bunch of big events coming up.
Wow. Yeah, quite a lot. Quite a lot.
Yeah. So what do you think? What are you working on taking to the Golden Ticket event?
So I have my Stormlance tried and true.
Yep.
I was really hype on it for a long time when the Codex rules came out. I think with the Iron Priest change, it doesn't shoot as hard as I'd like, and therefore the damage is a little bit neutered. It's still really fast. It still hits pretty damn hard. I kind of have had some frustrating games where my damage hasn't been where I wanted it to be. I just played Death Guard this week with Stormlance, and I kind of just chipped my teeth on all the Death Guard, Terminators and Fight First Plague Marines that could kill whatever. The shooting in Stormlance is really not particularly strong now that we are missing the Iron Priest. So I'm starting to lean towards an Iron Storm build.
Yeah, because Stormlance, it's like really you want to do some damage, but it's all about trying to jail them from primary. And with Knights running the meta and going to people running like 4 and 5 big Knights, they can just walk over you, like they can walk through build. Like it's really hard to jail them now. So I think that's a real bad thing for Stormlance.
Yeah, I think about that, and I also think about the damage in the meta. Like,
Death Guard just does so much damage.
So much damage. Even through -1 hidden wound, it like with on the Wolf strat and shooting with a reactive move, sometimes you can just get over damage in Stormlance. You shove things so far forward, but if your opponent has the damage to chew through you, yeah. Anyway, so I'm leaning more into shooting nowadays. I've been trying out this Ironstorm build for a couple of games.
Now you guys heard it here first. Aiden said Stormlance is now bad.
F tier.
F tier. No. Yeah, once Knights and Death Guard get a little fixed, I think Stormlance will be back on the menu, boys. Oh.
Yeah, speaking of which, do we have a topic for today's episode?
Yeah, I was thinking today we'd just start off talking a little bit about, the current meta, which is Death Guard and Knights, and how, as Wolf players, we think we can try to counter and be successful in this meta.
Yeah, that's really tough. Death Guard and Knights, they kind of have two different play styles.
Oh, yes.
If I'm not mistaken. Both can do a lot of damage. Both have a lot of durability, a lot of beef.
And yeah, it also depends on what type of Death Guard. Like the Victorum, where they sticky objectives, that's more of a grindy, close game, which I think Wolves can win and can lose. But the Hammer of Mortarion puts out so much damage. And that's the one that I find I have had the most issue with. Because they can pick 2 units to be basically in contagion range. So normally their 6-inch Deep Strike is only on units in contagion range. When you're fighting other detachments, you just can try to pin them back, and so they can't use it real well. But in this one, they can just pick 2 units, and I believe they don't have to see them. So they can just like, oh, you're 2 units hiding in your backfield. Now I can 6-inch deep strike. Well, now they're behind you, which in Hammer of Mortarion, which is a major pain. So you have to bring infiltrators. Like you need 1, if not 2 units of infiltrators until Death Guard get fixed.
It's totally true. And there are also other armies that are really deep strike heavy, and infiltrators just cut out half their game plan. Subterranean Assault, Grey Knights, Death Watch, GSC. There's just so many deep strikers.
Especially the ones that can 6-inch and charge. Those are a major pain for your backfield.
I did play Subterranean Assault. I had infiltrators on my list, so they really helped me lock down an objective for a couple turns.
Yeah, last Wednesday, my first game with Champions of Fenris, I didn't take infiltrators. I tried something we talked about on the channel. I took the Whirlwind. Like already spending the 100, upgraded the 90, and then they have a 6-inch deep strike strat. They dropped that and shot the Whirlwind, and we were playing Linchpin.
Oh.
Like, so Bjorn ended up getting into it was Farsight's unit.
Wow.
So Bjorn ended up getting into combat with him, ended up killing him, but it took him like 3 turns. And I didn't have anything else to run back. Yeah, so it's like I was getting 3s and 6s all game instead of like that. So it basically cost me, what would it be, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It cost me like 15 points for the game, and I still barely won, but it cost me a lot of points.
Yeah, totally.
So I was like, I'm taking infiltrators, always take infiltrators. And the Whirlwind shot once, killed 2 Vespid, and then died. So I'm like, you know what, this experiment.
Yeah, I always look at indirect every now and again. And I'm like, ooh, it could be good, and then I start to think about the math on it, and also, indirect is for weak players.
Yeah.
We love
these
melee.
infiltrators are going to sit back here, and you'll never be able to drop in and charge them. In a Champion of Fenris turn 1, because they're infantry, I can sticky it. So even if somebody can't drop over there.
Oh, wow.
Which is another thing that cost me the game is I had Arjax units start on the table because you can pick them up. My opponent got first turn, and he moved up with one of his ghost heals. So actually, Arjax, when they moved 6 inches, only had a 7-inch charge. So I didn't even pick them up. So I had them towing it. So if I'd even just remembered and spent that CP on my first turn, when he killed the Whirlwind, he never actually got onto the objective because Bjorn was there to come over and fight him. So it would have stayed sticky, and I would have scored those points too. So that's another game. In my first Champions of Fenris, I forgot to use some of the tools in the book. Like I forgot to use the sticky, and then they have a strat for in your opponent's command phase. One of your Terminator units can make everybody within 6 inches of them take a battle shock, and if they're below half, at -1.
Oh, okay.
So you just drop them up real aggressive in the middle or something. They move up, they're out OCing you or something, and just pop that. They fail a couple battle shocks, all of a sudden you flip some primary points.
Yeah, that's actually quite useful. That is
especially, and that's something that could be useful tonight. You can't rely on them failing. One of them OC-10 Knights fails a battle shock, and now they can't rotate against your predators. They're not holding that objective to deny it from you on your turn. So you can't rely on it, but it's throw it out there and maybe it'll happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of solid. What's up? We got Hogfather in the chat, Brian, Mike from Germany.
Yeah.
Again, I love the international audience of our show.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because in Death, let's see, what do you want to talk about? Death Guard first or Knights?
Let's do Death Guard. I've played this army twice with New Wolves. I also owned it. I've played Death Guard myself for a little while.
Yeah, so
it's a really hard archetype.
Yeah, so they can have a lot of shooting, especially if they go hammer, and it's brutal. So you really got to hide and stage and get your charges in, because a lot of times they'll run Plague Burst Crawlers and that. If you can get into them and tag them, they can't really fall back and shoot in that detachment, and they can't shoot the blast into the combat.
Right.
So if you can get them tied up, they can try to shoot at other stuff, but they can't move, or they can't, because if they do, they can't shoot. And then they can't shoot the blast into the unit engaged with them, so you can really limit their options. And then infiltrated, because you have the 6-inch deep striking Death Shrouds. Or I played a list that was running 15 at ATC. 2 3s and a 6. And the 3s are a pain to deal with, but that 6,
it's brutal.
Takes up anything it touches. Because what they run with the Lord of Contagion, I believe it is, they're freaking all lethal sustained.
Yep.
Which, as Space Wolf players, we know how well that could pop off. We used to be able to do that.
Those 6-mans kill anything they touch. It doesn't even matter what it is. It could be an Imperial Knight, could be, a Catan, could be Calgar's unit, whatever, a Necron Wraith unit. It's like It's like 30 attacks with crit 5s, you're rolling hits and wounds, lethal and sustained. Lance, your -1 toughness and your -1 save. It just is so many wounds stacked up on top of each other. What's up, Dan? What's up, Yeti?
What's up, Jimbo?
Yeah. So, gosh, how do you even approach this? The Death Guard, quite durable. They have really good reserve manipulations with the Death Shroud 6-inch deep striking. They have really good melee with Death Shrouds and Plague Marines. You don't see a lot of Plague Marines, but they're still good. They have really good shooting. It's just kind of a well-rounded list.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's all a little undercosted for what
It
does.
is. The Shrouds are undercosted.
Yeah. Because I don't know exactly what the Shrouds cost, but I mapped it out. A 5-man Wolfguard Terminator, even with lethals and oath, probably only kills 2 of the 3 Death Shrouds consistently. Like, maybe you're looking at the 3rd, but you can't count on killing the 3rd.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how do you even start to approach that unit? Mortals, I mean, shooting, I think, is going to be key.
Yeah, that's where I think if you're running head takers and picking them as your quarry and making sure you get into your quarry, that could have some play because, the devs getting in would be big.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I mean, I've ran 2 games against Death Guard. One of them was a win. One of them was a loss. Both were playing Stormlance. The win that I had was when I was pre-nerf Iron Priest, so I had a lot of shooting to back it up.
Pre-nerf Iron Priest, I don't think we have a problem with Knights or Death Guard.
I know that was a different beast altogether.
Yeah.
For me, I don't think you can do all melee in a Death Guard. You send your 6-man Thunderwolf Cav up, they will pick it up in a heartbeat with Death Shroud. I mean, like, no joke. They will just, even a 3-man Death Shroud will do the most, probably even pick up this 6-man Thunderwolves. They'll pick up the Wolf in like a snap. It's really tough.
Yeah, because I played against them in ATC, and I was still rolling old wolves, so the wolf squads with the characters, and they were still picking them up. Yeah,
that is one of the biggest weaknesses to our durability is like medium to high strength 2 damage with reliability, a lot of attacks. Yes. So things like Blood Angels with strength with like +2 strength and +1 attacks with 2 damage. Death Guard with a lot of attacks. World Eaters, sometimes Orcs, can just chew through our durability really fast.
But yeah, you need those Lancers, Predators, Ballistis. Actually, in that matchup, I prefer the Predators and Ballistis just because there's more shots trying to pick up the bodies. So if you can kill 1 or 2 Death Shroud before you send your unit in, then with Arjac or Logan, they should hopefully be able to finish it off.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to come down to kind of how well you can delay the Death Shroud. If you can get them on the board, not charging a key resource early on, that's obviously good. A way you can do that, again, is to bring a lot of shooting and put pressure on your opponent's army with shooting. They have to bring down the Death Shroud to try to kill some stuff in midfield, and hopefully you can isolate them. That was what I had success with. I'm not going to say Logan and 5 Wolfguard Terminators can survive the Death Shroud, but it will suck a lot of resources out of your opponent.
Oh, yes.
I think knowing that whatever those Death Shroud are going to charge is going to go away. Also, with Gladius, Stormlance, and Beastlayer, reactive moving out of contagion range is a huge deal because you no longer can get 6-inch deep struck. So keep that in mind, when you're screening.
Yeah, so Infiltrators for your backfield because they just shut down 6-inch, and maybe find the 80 points for 2 Fenrisian squads that hold back, and when you know he has to come in, just all right, you can deep strike on some Fenrisian Wolf squads, and now you're out here.
Once the Death Shroud are on the board, we have the speed to play around them.
That almost forces you to play more patient. Because I like to Logan, Arjac in the middle of the board, but maybe you hold them in reserve, even though you can come in turn 1. Maybe you don't. Maybe you wait till the Death Shrouds hit and then counter.
Yeah. I would say for me, I'm leaning more into shooting with Death Guard in the meta. I think our melee is not good enough to win the melee.
No, I think you need both. But I'm saying once they commit, you can. I'm just saying you don't want them to come into Logan and Arjac because I think you still bring them in most of those lists, at least one of them.
Right.
So wait till the Death Guard are down, or the Death Shrouds. You counter with shooting and then maybe charging to clean up. But now your combat units aren't dead, and they can go clean up like Plague Marines, Poxwalkers, vehicles, whatever's in the back that your shooting may not be able to get to.
Yeah, exactly. But they're such a well-rounded army. They have like a
Oh yeah,
60% win rate. They're a little overtuned, but we still have to figure out how to play against them.
yeah. I think we can give them a game. Equal player skill to equal player skill with well-built lists. We're probably going to lose to them more than we're going to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
But we can put ourselves in a position where if we get 1 or 2 breaks, it can happen. We're there, ready for it.
Yep. Mike's saying he's got to face Death Guard on Thursday, his current opponent. I mean, I think it's good to get a lot of reps into things that are strong in the meta. Even if you lose most of them, when you run into it at a tournament, you're going to have that experience of how to actually approach this game.
Well, and if you know you're going into Death Guard specifically, you can skew for them. You don't want to necessarily do that for a tournament because now you're bad into other stuff and now you don't play Death Guard. So it's hard to. So it's how can we build a well-rounded list that can fight everything but still has tools for Death Guard. Whereas if you have a position where you know who you're playing and you can tailor your list, then you just bring 3 infiltrator squads and a bunch of shooting and then just a couple counter units.
Yeah. Well, let me share my kind of a brief overview of my game against Death Guard this week. I played Stormlance. I had a couple shooting units. I had a Rep X with an Iron Priest, and I actually had a Stern Guard brick with a Librarian. I kind of like that unit in Stormlance. Just a lot of 4-up invulns. When he did bring the Death Shroud in, I had to focus fire it with a Stern Guard unit and a full health 6-man Thunderwolves with Lance. I only killed 3 of them. And then he swung back and killed 3 Thunderwolves. It was just pretty brutal. He dropped his other unit in and just took my expansion. And then the whole game kind of fell apart. It was still close because I was kind of pushing primary on him a little aggressively. It's still a really tough game. And I think in my Stormlance game, I realized I really want stronger shooting. So I'm looking at Beast Slayer for lethals. I'm looking at Gladius for shooting. I'm also looking at Ironstorm because Ironstorm can bring, I think, the most shooting that we have.
Yes. Yeah, if you're going mostly shooting at Ironstorm's probably number 1, and then Beast Slayer's probably right there too.
Right. Yeah. Let's see what Hogfather's saying. He's got a game against Emperor's Children. Hunting Wolves survived around a melee with Fulgrim himself. They are now my best boy.
Nice. That's
I
always
cannot
great when
believe
something like
that.
that happens. Well, 6-man squad, because how many attacks is he? Like 8 or something weird, Fulgrim?
Yeah, I don't actually know. He's like weaker than most other Primarchs in melee. It's kind of weird.
I've heard them complain about him. But yeah, we have something like that. They roll a couple ones to hit, a couple ones to wound, and you're still there.
Whenever I bring my Fenrisian Wolves, they usually do something very heroic. Like, move blocking the last turn to get me a primary to win the game. Like, they just are always so cool when I bring them.
Oh, yeah. That's what people always think reaction move is run away. But no, you can get into people's charge ranges. You can move and block other units that they haven't moved yet. Like, you can actually be fairly aggressive with the reactionary moves.
Yeah. I forgot to ask you, but what kind of builds are you looking at building and playing? I know you got your GT coming up in a couple weeks.
Well, I'm running the best attachment that GW has ever released. They gave it to us for Christmas.
A Christmas present.
Yeah, our Christmas present.
It was.
I'm still playing around with Champions of Fenris. Played it last Wednesday at our Wednesday night practice games, and it did okay. But that's where I was testing the Whirlwind. I was testing a drop pod that had a Judicar with Blade Guard and a Reaver squad in it. It's like I was testing a bunch of weird stuff all at the same time. Still managed to squeak out a win, although I did play it a little weird. Twice I used the Thunderwolves for the 3-inch heroic, and later looking back at it, it's only infantry and walker. So I cheated them a little bit. But now there's only one Thunderwolf squad in the unit in the list, so everybody can do it. I got rid of the Whirlwind. I had Ragnar and an Impulsor and the Judicar Blade Guard squad. I dropped Ragnar's squad. Now I have a 10-man Termi running with Arja. So I tweaked the list a lot, so I think and I didn't use some of the tools, like I didn't use the sticky objectives. I didn't use the battle shock. I never picked up a Terminator squad just because the way the game was going.
How did you like the feel of the detachment?
I like the Terminators being OC2. That was really, really nice. The stealth I didn't get to use because whenever his stealth suits target you or guide against you or whatever, it ignores cover.
Oh,
And he had some of his crisis suits and all his riptides ignore modifiers to their hit or hit rolls.
oh, I remember that. So brutal. 4 damage each,
Yeah.
ignoring modifiers to hit is just so
So
brutal.
I'm interested in playing as something else where I can actually have -1 to wound stealth Terminators in cover. So against him, it didn't really help, but I'm thinking, so that did, I still, so that I think can make them really hard to kill. The up down if they're out of position, or because I think we talked about this last week, starting Arjack on the table, having Logan in strategic, they get first turn picking Arjack up. Now you can drop in the drop pod, Arjack squad and Logan squad all turn 1 if you want to be really aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can get really aggressive with that army, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, so we'll see. So it's got some tricks that make Terminators work. So I'm gonna try it again tomorrow night at our practice, and I'm gonna take it to my little event this weekend. And depending on how that goes, we'll be able to talk about it next Tuesday. I'll either try to put some final tweaks on it and take it to the GT, or be like, all right, Champion Fenris is okay, but I'm not taking this to a GT. And
The
you just
final,
switch
yeah. I mean, it's
So-
cool. I like that you're testing out some new stuff with Wolves, especially Champions
Yeah.
of Fenris, because everyone is hating on the detachment.
Yeah,
You know?
it's not bad. It's like the Tau player was complaining every movement phase about having to not be able to be within 3 inches of me anywhere. Because when you swarm a bunch of units up, that's hard to do, to stay away from all of them.
Yeah, it is actually. It's a lot of space you take up. It's almost like a 3-inch blood surge. You know what I mean? Like you have to really respect it. In
Well, he
case,
doesn't have to
oops, I
shoot,
didn't kill this
and he
unit.
doesn't have to shoot you. He just has to be near you. So
Right.
if you just push hard on the objectives, which is what Space Wolves like to do,
Right.
it kind of puts them in a bad spot.
Yeah. G-Bag's got an interesting comment. Let's put it up here. I wanted to take a second. Mention using a whirlwind. Thoughts on using more than one? I find one is not enough. It's 3 overkill on points. What do you think, Matt?
I think so. I ran the 1 and wasn't really impressed with it. They're just overcosted for 190. We have so much better shooting options, and we are such good combat that can be aggressive and get on their side of the table, that we're not like certain armies like Eldar or some stuff that just doesn't have the ass, I guess, to get to the little units they have hiding. So I don't think we necessarily need indirect as much as maybe some other armies do. And at 190 points, like every couple months I come back and try whirlwinds again, and just they never do what I hope for. And just like at 190 points, if they're like 125 points or something, like actually I think that's what they started as before they really went after
Indirect.
indirect. Then I might bring one, and then that 125, 140 even maybe. At that point, I'd rather just take a ballistas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't think they're worth their points right now.
I totally agree. Indirect in general is bluntly an unfun mechanic. It's really uninteractive. Like, oh, I get to sit here and shoot you 5 turns. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't hide. You can't do anything. So I'm kind of glad GW has gone the route of nerfing indirect to the point of not really being useful. There are a few niche cases, like if you're running Gladius, like Desolators, that can spend a bunch of strats every turn to ignore cover +1 AP with +1 to wound, reroll hits. That's not us. We don't +1 to wound, and we also don't have a million strats to spend. I was actually looking briefly at Desolators in Beastslayer, just for plainly the fact they could just pick up random chaff units here and there. Giving lethals is interesting because you can just throw a bunch of stuff out of vehicle from out of line of sight. It'll do a couple chip wounds. But I do love the stratagem pinning fire with Desolators. Yeah, it's Dan saying PvC indirect is busted with Immortals. Yeah, if indirect's too strong, it makes the game so unfun.
Well, yeah, they can splash mortal and kill your lone ops, which is ridiculous. Pick out
that's
your Iron Priest
so
and stuff.
dumb.
It's like, yeah.
Oh my god. Well, anyway, to finish that thought, Desolator's getting lethals is good. Ignoring cover can pick up stuff, but I really like the combination of pinning fire and the reactive move. I haven't explored this a lot. If I really run Beastslayer, I'm going to test this quite a bit. But being able to pick out a character or vehicle unit out of line of sight to say, you have -2 move and charge. And then if you try to move into me, I can react to move. So your charge is going to get 8 inches longer if you try to move into me, which can be totally a way to shut down your opponent's melee out of line of sight. I really do want to try that. Other than that, indirect is just too inefficient points wise. Yep. Yeah. Okay, well, we talked about Death Guard. They're a really hard matchup. They've got just all the tools to succeed. Infiltrators, screens, have good shooting, draw at the death shrouds if you can, and then lay into them. That's really the meat of the opponent's army usually a lot of the times, unless they're running all tanks.
Yeah, and just be patient, especially if you end up getting lucky and getting turn 2, because we're faster than them, and just make them try to start committing, especially if they're running the heavy shooting list, then you really got to be careful with your angles. They're running mostly combat, then you can really be a little more patient, use your Fenrisians, the screen, make them, because they have to come in turn 3 before you do if you're going second.
Mm-hmm.
So some of that will play in exactly how you can approach it.
Yeah, you can be a little aggressive if they are not running a lot of melee, but it is a loss condition if they're running a good amount of melee, and you get hyper aggressive. If you push up that head taker squad, Thunderwolf Cav, and Wolfen, those big units, and Logan, you just push them up. You try to charge as much as possible. If you're standing 12 inches away from the Death Guard army, you're gonna die. So don't even pretend that we can withstand Death Guard melee. It is so ridiculously efficient.
Yeah, once they're on the table, we're faster than them, which is one benefit we have. So hold back till they commit to areas, and then shoot the death shrouds when you can. If you weaken them, maybe charge them with a full unit or something. Try to finish it off. Otherwise, just try to get into other stuff and just make them hold the objective and stuff for them. Kill everything.
Yeah. Else. Speaking of shooting, I'm curious. Unless you're crazy like Dan or someone, you can run all melee. You need some shooting. I'm curious now with the Iron Priest nerf, what does that look like for us?
Well, I think the Iron Priest now, you don't even really have to take him. I mean, he can heal. He gives you 1 extra shot. He has lone ops if you use him for some action, so you can take him, but you just don't have to.
Right.
But I think Lancers are still good. Predators are still good. And Ballistas, they do different things. The Lancer, you got. We're just going to talk about the big shots. They all have some little shots you can shoot, but we're bringing them for the big shots. Is why we're bringing them in. Yeah. So Lancer, you get 2 shots, possibly 3. If you bring the Iron Priest, you can reroll 1 hit, 1 wound, and 1 damage. It's fine, very consistent. The Ballistas, if you're shooting into the thing, something that's above half strength, you get full reroll to hit.
Mm-hmm.
No rerolls to wound, no rerolls on damage. Then the Predator, if you give him the 2 shots on the top, he's got 4 shots, no rerolls to hit, but the 2 strength 14 shots will be twin linked, and then all of his shots reroll their damage. And now that Knights are T11 for the big Knights, you're winning all Knight chassis other than the Castellan types. You still win them on 4s, but the big gun will still win them on 3s, but the side 12, strength 12, all the guns wound most of the regular Knights on 3s now with full reroll the damage.
Yeah.
And once per game, you get the Hunter Killer, so you actually get 5 shots out of that Predator if you have the Iron Priest, 4 if you don't. So for 135 points, I'm still bringing 2 Predators.
I mean, yeah, like we talked about it, the classic build we were putting in every list was 2 Predator Annihilators, 2 Iron Priests.
Yep.
Now that Iron Priests are worse, you can just add a 3rd Predator, and it almost is quite the same. Or you could just take more melee, I do think we can Lancers with Iron Priests are incredibly efficient, really, really efficient shooting platforms into most everything. They can clear chaff, they can shoot tanks, they can shoot heavy stuff. The one thing they're not good into, Terminators. So that's kind of the problem when you run into a list with a lot of Death Shrouds and you have 2 Lancers, you're killing 2 Death Shroud a turn with both Lancers or one, with combined.
Yeah, that's why I prefer Predators in the Death Guard meta, because they're still good in the Knights, but you get those at least once per game. You get 2 more shots in the Lancer because you get the extra shot normally, and then you get the once per game Hunter Killer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's So I like the 1 extra shot most turns, and then just 2 shots once. Just if you get the 1 extra Death Shroud a turn, that's honestly a huge tipping point in that match.
It is. Any amount of Terminators you can strip from them before you go in with melee. Keep it simple. Anti-end everything Vindicators. Vindicators are still really efficient at everything. They shoot everything really well. So Vindicators are good they're pretty damn good anti-tank. They're pretty damn good anti-elites, pretty damn good anti-Terminators.
Yeah, my only problem with Vindicators is random number of shots, but they do get +3, so that's okay. But flat D6 damage.
Tough.
You might not kill 1 Space Marine per shot if you're not rolling well.
Yeah, that and if you the D6 plus 3, if you roll that 1 on the go turn,
Yep.
it can be so brutal.
And Death Shrouds are 4-man, so you don't even get the extra blast shot.
Yeah.
So Vindicators are fine. Their damage is too inconsistent for me.
Right.
I'd rather have +1 or +3, which with rerolling all damage on the +1 for Predators, or rerolling at least one of the +3s on the Lancer. I just think when you finally get through some invul saves on big stuff, you want to make sure you don't do 1 to 2 damage.
Exactly. Vindicators are amazing if you can shoot them for multiple turns over the course of the game. Like you really don't want to rely on them on a go turn.
If they were closer in points to the other stuff, I'd say they're right there. But the fact that they're 185 points, you're basically spending another 50 points over a Predator. I just prefer the Predator, just because of points cost.
It's very solid. I've played 3 games now with Ironstorm. I'm so impressed with Ironstorm, Repulsor Executioners, and Iron Priests. I was shocked. Let me tell you about these guys. So the Repulsor Executioners are just really efficient shooting platforms, just full stop. You add in an extra shot on top and the ability to heal with those little Iron Priests. They get even better. Then you add in a reroll to wound on their big gun, which is their big problem. You have Oath, you reroll all hits, you hit 3 times, then you wound 1 time. They make their save. The rerolling to wound is just so incredible. I was really impressed with the Predators. And also, you can blanket damage with an enhancement. You can give them lethals, which is really good. Beast Slayer is also a great way to do that. Beast Slayer Repulsor Executioners, very good. Also, they can go God mode if you wound something and you spend 2 CP, you can get Mercy's Weakness to give them lethal sustain 5s on 40 shots, rerolling all hits. Like they can 1 down a night, which is kind of crazy. I was quite impressed with them.
Yeah. I need to get a repulsor. I got a regular repulsor. I don't have the Executioner.
Yeah, they're okay without the reliability because they don't have any rerolls on their big gun. But in Ironstorm, they get that reliability and they get so good. They can shoot back if they get below half. They can ignore mods, which is great. All that good stuff. I was quite impressed with them. Klaus has got a question about. Yeah, Dan's got a question as well.
We can go back to Klaus. I missed him. Yep. I wouldn't say auto take. I say if you're in a detachment where you don't think you're really going to be spending more than the 2 CP, you're going to discard a card here or there to get an extra CP. Like if you don't think you're spending a lot of CP, then no, he's not auto take. Like in my Champions of Fenris, I know there's a lot of strats I want. In Bold, there's a lot of 2 CP strats. Yep. So in certain attachments, he's not auto take, but like must take to make the detachment work. But if you're running an attachment where like you're really keying off the enhancements in the army rule, and there's a strat here or there, then no, you don't necessarily have to take Bjorn.
Yeah, I mean, he by himself does okay. He's not as durable as I think he is. Like he does fold to really dedicated anti-tank. Yep. So I wouldn't put him out in front of your opponent's entire army. That being said, he's really good at like pushing late game and expansion. But yeah, definitely if you consider your CP cost, if you're not using a lot of CP, I would lean towards more damage.
Yeah, because I normally hold him back, help my infiltrators guard the back, and then mid-game start pushing to help pressure the center objective with him.
Right.
But yeah, also, you really got to be careful with him.
Yeah. Also, I would say if you have elements of your list, if you have other elements of your list that do a lot of damage, if you're running like Beast Slayer, which I think is our most powerful like damage-wise detachment, you don't need all of the extra damage you can get. So like taking Bjorn in that is okay as well, because all the rest of your stuff already has lethals, can get +1 to wound, is just really powerful. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Klaus is saying, what is your opinion on the new drop pods? Playing a few editions ago, we also have the box Vendread that gives +1 to charge.
Yeah. So the Vendread's okay. I'm not a big fan of him. We kind of got to get him in position to give the +1 to charge, because I'm assuming it's in the charge phase, so you'd have to run it up with whatever's deep striking or rapid ingressing up or advancing out of transport or however you're delivering your units. And I don't think they're as survivable as I'd want them to be, so I'm not a big fan of Vendreads, but I know a few people have said they think they're really good.
Yeah, I think there is. You can be a little bit aggressive on the first turn. Like if you want to get that +1, you can bring a unit in from strategic reserve, drop pod in, get the Vendread started on the line, and run them up to give them +1 to charge. That's great in some matchups. In some matchups, putting everything in front of your opponent's army is going to like immediately lose you. Like we talked about Death Guard. If you throw 800 points in front of your opponent's army turn 1, they're going to kill 800 points of your army in turn 1. I mean, if they have the Death Shroud there. Drop pods aren't interesting. I don't think they really change things a lot because we don't like Marine infantry shooting is not crazy. There's no like Marines that are going to like one tap a knight in shooting in the drop pod. And then it also doesn't help like melee a lot. Maybe you could wrap it.
They did change that you get a charge out of them now, which is nice. So you can set up for a 9, which isn't reliable, but you have that threat of charging out of them now. But the fact that they can hold 12 instead of 10, you have the option of putting characters with the units now. So I don't think they're more viable. I'm actually playing around with one in my Champion Defenders list. So after some more games with it, I'll have a more nuanced, informed opinion on it.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think they have potential, but we'll see how it actually works out. Because in Champion Defenders, I'm putting the Judicar and Blade Guard in it with the Wolves Wisdom for the 6-inch heroic, even if they don't charge. And if I end up on a good map where I can deep strike it aggressively and have them positioned to threaten my opponent's expansion or something, so they can't just walk over there with a little unit because you can 6-inch heroic them, even if they don't charge. So I think there's some plays there. Like, and I talked about the other video, I still think it'd be something fun and just crazy to try out in certain builds. The pod with 4 head taker squads, 3 mans, each with a character.
Yeah.
That'll fill out your 12 and just basically grenade 3 head taker squads. If you line them all up, boom, boom, you basically have 3 chances, 4 if you use 1 reroll to charge, to hit a 9 into something, and then you have 2 more to come support.
Yeah, I mean, it is a way to put a lot of pressure on your opponent early. Yeah, exactly. Part of Load saying that. Hogfather's saying Sternguard shooting. Sternguard shooting is actually pretty solid. 10 man with a librarian it does a lot. I took that in my last Stormlights game. It's a little swingy, but it does about half a knight. It's like 10 to 14 mortal wounds.
Well, it depends. They could delete a little knight. I don't think they reliably delete a big
you
knight.
need some extra support on the Sternguard.
And
then they're quite expensive.
Yes. And I think big knights are what we have to start worrying about more than little knights a lot now, because I'm seeing 4 and 5 big knight lists now as opposed to the 1 or 2 with just hordes of dogs. Now I only have like 4 to 6 little knights instead of like 13. They're really, really going with big knights right now, it seems.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's get on to the second half of the discussion. Imperial and Chaos Knights. They recently got a huge glow up. Chaos Knights got a codex. I've read and dove a little bit into them. Imperial Knights just got a lot of point cuts, and Chaos Knights included as well.
Yeah, so they got some point cuts, and they got a new book for the Chaos Knights, but they got some big nerfs too. They all lost 1 toughness, so all our shooting, all our strength 12 shooting, now wounds them on 3. So all the las cannons are better. The ballistus now wounds with its big gun with the las cannons, wounds on 3s on big knights, and it wounds little knights on 3s with everything now.
Yeah.
So all our shooting platforms that as wolves we were looking into, other than the Lancer, who was strength 14, so he didn't really change into him, but all the other options we've been looking at actually got better into knights.
Yeah, quite a bit better. And also, speaking of the toughness change, T10 to T9 is massive for us. We are a strength 5 army across the board. Wolfguard Terminators, Head Takers, Wolfen, Thunderwolves. So getting that and then getting +1 to wound against them, now we're wounding on 4s instead of 5s. It's actually quite massive.
Yeah, the Wolfen don't care as much because they're anti-vehicle, but like the Head Takers, the Wolfguard, even Logan, no, because he was strength 8, so he doesn't matter. But all our strength 5 stuff, yeah. The Thunderwolves going in at 3 damage now, wounding on 5s instead of 6s. It's a huge breakpoint. And they're less OC now. I think it's 10 and 6 respectively, and they tier. Their OC goes down at around half wounds instead of like a quarter wounds, I think.
Right. Yeah, which is a big deal.
Yeah, you drop one of those little knights from 6 to 3. Because that used to be the problem. You'd run in, do however many wounds, leave it on 1 wound, it's still OC 8.
OC 8, and
Because I had
you're
that come
not.
in my
Mhm.
Chaos Knight game in ATC. I was like, I had one knight down to 1 wound, and had another knight, and I was like, man, how am I going to get 15 OC off here? Because that's some Thunderwolves and stuff. I was like, man, I can only get to 11 OC. And like, oh, I only have to do like another 8 wounds to this big knight, and he's down to 10 OC. And I was able to steal the objective on turn 5 and actually win that game because you're able to tier their OC so much easier now.
Yeah, I mean that's a real thing. I'm glad they actually degrade.
Yes.
Touching back on the shooting, Yeti's got a question. What about Land Raider and the variants for range damage?
Oh yeah.
Land Raiders in general are not like amazing range damage. They're pretty damn durable. They do okay damage. The 4 last cannons is solid. Obviously, with a Hunter Killer, maybe an extra Iron Priest could be like 8 shots, but it's still quite expensive. You don't get the reroll damage like a Predator.
Yeah, point for point, there's better shooting, but if you're using it to transport, if you're using it for 2 rolls to deliver something good, like putting Logan or Arjak and a Terminator Squad actually in the Land Raider or something and pushing it up, then maybe you could have some play, although I think you'd have to go in the Crusader or Redeemer to make them fit, and I actually still like the Redeemer.
Yeah, Redeemer's still solid.
There is a decent amount of stuff that can kill it now, and the points went up.
Yep.
But having 2 strength 6, 2 damage flamers in the middle of the table, AP2, people don't want to walk. Even Death Shroud's like, oh, you won me on 5s. Yeah, you want to give me a chance to roll 10 shots and get lucky, and you lose a Terminator for no reason?
Yeah. They're good like bully pieces. I would say less so for shooting.
Yep. Especially in like the knight meta, people are coming to kill knights, so knights can kill them decently, and so anybody that's coming to kill knights can kill them fairly decently.
Right.
But they stayed strength 12, or they stayed T12, which does help them because now everybody's coming to kill T11 knights. So las cannons and stuff they're bringing that are actually good now are still going to wound the Land Raider on 4. Land Raider gets a 2-up. It's not hard to give it cover. Depending on your attachment, you can possibly AOC it. So I still don't think one Land Raider is bad, especially the Redeemer. You just got to find the points for it. So you're dropping other stuff, which most likely is probably some of your other shooting or one of your combat units. So if you build your list to around that, then I think it's still viable.
Yeah, I would say our good friend Mark Hertel runs 3 Land Raiders. His Land Raiders get +1 wound because they're Ultramarines. We don't like that, boo. But the concept of if you're going to run 1, run 3 is kind of holds strong. Your opponent can kill 1 Land Raider, great. That if you only have 1, it's kind of a big blow. But if you have 3, you can kind of, or just like durable equivalent hulls or invulns, just like if you're running I have this in my Ironstorm list, if you're running big tanks, back them up with a lot of other bulk. So if your opponent has anti-tank, it's going to be kind of overwhelmed. More hulls, Thunderwolves with invulns, Wolfen with invulns, Terminators with invulns, just really durable stuff that they need the anti-tank to go into as well. So you could really build your list to kind of revolve around that bulk.
Yeah, and I don't think Little Knights are much of a problem. I mathed it out, and I believe a 5-on Terminator Squad with either Logan or Arjak most of the time will pick up a Little Knight by itself.
Yeah.
And so then going into that, we're still winning the big ones on 6s because they're T11. So you need a little more shooting to help you back up the big ones. You want to bring those couple shooting platforms, run a lethal detachment, or at least one that has access. Champion Defenders can give you lethal. Beast Slayer can give you lethal. Beast Slayer has it built in. We have good access to lethals. Head Takers just doing the devs to get around their saves. I think we are actually have a really good game in tonight. If you play it well, you have to play smart. It's not like an auto win, but it's much easier than Death Guard, honestly.
Yeah, Shield Wolfen are amazing in the Knights.
Any vehicle heavy army, Shield Wolfen are. I got a 10-man in the Champion Fenders I'm testing out now. It's the first time I'll be putting Wolfen on the table, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I would say with knights, you want to be able to take some wounds off of them at range. So again, like oops all melee is really good in some armies, but knights, if you get really close to knights, they can start turning on the damage. And apart, yeah, I mean, there's some good. I would say head takers are great. Wolfen with shields are great. Everything else is okay into big knights, but pretty damn good into small knights. So it just kind of depends on the opponent's army.
Yep, and unless you bring Ragnar, we can't grenade with head takers. So if you have any other little units in there, I don't know if our Terminators get it. I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So you may want to bring because in my one other game I had scouts throw some grenades. So anytime you can find extra mortals, stuff like that, just don't forget to use it. To every wound you take off a knight, tank shock with your predators, tank shock with your lancer. You do 2 or 3 devs to a knight, it helps.
Yeah, totally. Argonaut's asking about Eradicators and Beast Slayers. So yeah, lethals are actually really great on Eradicators because they get reroll hits and wounds and damage all the time. They're actually now a viable Overwatch threat against vehicles and monsters. Every 6 you do, you get reroll hits all the time. Every 6 you do is a wound, and you can reroll damage. Getting them there is always a problem. I actually have been a fan of the Repulsor Executioner and 3 Eradicators jumping out. Repix loves lethals, 3 guys jumping out. They can actually jump back in with the reactive move strat, which is pretty solid. They really do like lethals.
Yeah, but you can put them in Repulsor. If you're running the Land Raider, that's something they could go in.
6-man could be a very solid threat.
And can they go on drop pods that take up 3 spots?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to look that up right now because
they can. You put a 3-man in a pod.
3-man in a pod.
I don't know if that's good, but I'm not sure it's bad.
6-man in a pod if they take up 2 spaces, but I'm assuming they cannot.
Yeah, I was thinking they might take 3, but I guess they take 2 in the land. Whatever they take in the Land Raider is what they would take, but they might not be able to.
Downloads. Well, anyway, here, Space Marines drop pod. I think last time it cannot transport Gravis, Wolfen, Jump, Terminator. Yeah, only Tacticus and Phobos. That would be sick. You could drop down 6 Eradicators on turn 1, just like below 2 vehicles up.
Well, you know what you could also do? Put 6 Eradicators in Strategic Reserve and bring them in somewhere turn 1.
No, not with Logan.
Oh, they're not space. God damn it.
I know, right? Imagine if he didn't have that
These stupid keyword restrictions. That would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess you could still rapid ingress them turn 2 or something.
Yeah, I mean, they're still an all-around solid unit. They do a lot of good damage.
Quit crushing my dreams, Dan.
I know. Dang, we should just call GW writers and be like, please FAQ this. So
if I put pelts on it, is it Space Wolf?
Yeah, that's right.
If I get my opponent to agree,
that's totally right. It's got to have fur on it, pelts.
Yeah, so I was trying to run an Assault Terminator squad because now all my old Wolfguard Terminators with Hammer Shield aren't legal to be Wolfguard Terminators. Now they're just Assault Terminators. But they have all the Wolf Shields and Hammers and markings. So I'm like, so I can run them. They're just not Space Wolf unit anymore.
Yeah, a couple of things that changed. The Wolfguard, just full stop. We lost them, but I guess we got head takers.
Wolfguard head takers, Wolfguard Terminators, and Thunderwolves are technically Wolfguard.
They technically are, and so are the Terminators and the head takers. So, yeah, so Knights, they are dominating. They got like a 60% win rate. It's just so many tanks too cheap currently.
Yes. So you want to bring some tanks. Be in one of the detachments that either gives you lethal off the grip or you have access to lethal.
Lance +1 wound is amazing into them.
Overkill something. It's better to kill a full knight than wound 2 knights.
Absolutely. You really don't want to split up against these knights. Suddenly they make a little more 4-ups than you were expecting on their shooting, and they make a couple 5-ups in melee. You don't want to leave these knights alive on 5 wounds apiece.
And if you got 108 points, bring some Grey Hunters because 2 of them tie an objective with a little knight. and 4 of them steal it from a big knight.
Oh man, if we could bring 5-man Grey Hunters.
No, bring a 10.
That's the secret tech, is just bring all Grey Hunters.
Yeah. Yeah. If they go down a little points, I could put them in a list. Or if they gave us access to the 5-mans, because OC3 could be so good. There's so much potential there if points were better or we weren't stuck at 10-mans.
We were talking about before all the rules dropped. We were talking about, oh, you could join ancients to them, and then you could use the champions of Rust for another OC. So you give them OC5. But no, none of that's happening.
No. Oh, yeah, champions of Rust is gone.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up. I shouldn't have brought it up.
That's right. It's only the second best attachment ever. It's not Champions of Fenris.
Oh God! Wow, you're gonna get burned at the stake for saying that.
Hopefully, most people can understand. I'm being mostly sarcastic, but after looking into and playing it a little bit, I do think it is a solid detachment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our best. Beast Slayer, Gladius, Stormlance. Once Death Guard Knights get fixed, Bold. I think all are slightly better. But it just plays. If you play into the playstyle, just bring a bunch of durable units that aren't mounted, that are infantry or walker, and just swarm the middle. They can't do any like cheeky tricks to jump on and try to steal it from you because they're going to get charged.
Yeah.
So it could be real annoying for people to deal with. You can have some success with it. It's not the garbage it was. I think it was garbage with our index detachment data sheets.
Yeah. It totally was. The new Terminators got a really big glow up. They got better weapons. They got a lot more durable. But
stealth with -1 to wound is just a whole different thing.
Yeah, they have 2 up. Do you have an Armor of Contempt in that detachment or no?
Yes.
Oh wow! So you could be -1 to hit, -1 to wound, -1 AP, and also cover.
Yes.
Those are some Terminators that are hard to dig out.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I bring Bjorn, so I have the OC to do all that stuff.
That's fantastic.
That CP, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the only ones that don't get Armor Contempt are our 3 new ones. The Russ had it, and Fenris has it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so they have so the strats for it are, you have a strat where you can get either sustained or lethal, your choice. Armor of Contempt, up-down Terminators, sticky with an Infiltrator squad, stealth, and battle shock for all units within 6 inches of one of your Terminator squads.
Yeah.
-1 if they're already below half. So it's got some solid strats.
Not bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's got a couple decent enhancements. Unfortunately, they're best with Terminators, and so you'd have to take regular Terminators. So bring the 1 Judicar with Blade Guard specifically for the fights first on your heroic, just so if you're fighting like Eldar or something, or if they do charge, you can go in and still fight before them. But you could just go head takers with like a Battle Leader or Wolf Priest and take it. But
yeah. I mean, that's quite solid. Mm-hmm. So into Knights, I think you do need to lean into more damage. Stormlance is good. Shield Wolfen are incredible. So whatever attachment, they're great in Stormlance as well into Knights. Mm-hmm. Good shooting, always really amazing. Vindicators are great. Ballistus, Lancer. We talked about all the good shooting. Predators. Predators.
And all our characters and our leaders of our tournament, we have a lot of damage 3, which helps.
Totally.
So you get through and especially in combat, they don't get invuls. So all stuff's -2. So they're taking 5-ups across the board for the most part. Unless you're into one of like the Lance or whatever, the Forge World Knight, then they might get a 4-up in combat. But every time you're getting through, you're doing that extra damage.
I haven't played Chaos Knights. Imperial Knights seem a little more straightforward. They just shoot hard. They're durable. They hit hard in melee. Yeah, Chaos Knights seem really tricky. I've not really played into them. They seem really.
That one Chaos Knight I played, I believe it's Lords of Dread he ran. They can sticky an objective at the end of any phase, I believe, and they can do it once per battle round for free.
Wow.
And it counts as OC5.
Oh, that's obnoxious.
Yeah, so I had a couple spots in that game because I was still running index where like a battle leader or something was left from a wolf squad, but he's only OC2. I could pump him up to OC3, but he can't turn off their sticky or hold the objective because it counts as OC5.
Wow.
Their other detachment can sticky objectives, but it's regular sticky. Mm-hmm. But they can basically dark pact every time one of their vehicles. So the other one does more damage, but this one is a little more tricky because it's getting to that OC5 is kind of hard to turn off sometimes once you start losing some stuff.
Yeah, totally. I also know they can lean into some really good battle shock and mortal mechanics. So that's tough if you rely on defensive strats or even offensive strats sometimes.
Yeah, believe me,
Um,
if you're within a certain range and you fail a battle shock, you take mortals.
yeah. They have a Knight Abominant that can force battle shocks, I think, within an aura or something.
Yep.
I don't have there actually aren't a lot of Knights players, at least in my local group that I play regularly.
And they changed slightly. I knew them fairly decently in the index, but they've changed a little bit. So I played against the new one. So he was running Lords of Dread. So I got up on a little bit. The Abominants were not nearly as scary as I thought they were going to be.
Really?
Yeah, their shots are like APs. Basically, he's fishing for mortals with that. If he rolls the mortals,
Right.
it hurts. Otherwise, it's AP 0.
It's like 12 shots, strength 12, AP 0, 2 damage, dev wounds.
Yeah, something like that. It might be 3 damage. I don't know, but it hurts. But if it gets through, but like you get all your normal saves against it. It doesn't ignore cover or anything. So if you kill if you kill the Atropos in they normally run like Atropos Lancer, double Atropos. Those guys was running like whatever their version of the Castellan is. Like, so they really have 2 really good damage knights, and the other big knights, like the Abominants, shoot okay, combat okay. They're just a lot of wounds in OC.
Right.
So once I realized that, and I was able to kill the 2 really scary knights, he really didn't do that much damage after that into me.
Yeah. I'd be curious, understanding what knights do a lot into.
Yeah.
Um,
And it looks like they got this big scary plasma. So going into the game, I was like, but just ask them what the profiles are, and those into Thunderwolves, into our Terminators. Like, oh, I'm getting my 2-up save, and you takes 2 wounds to kill 1 Terminator. You're -1 to wound, so you're fishing for devs. Like, it's really not that scary. You
Right.
got to kill the Atroposes, the Lancers, Castigator if they bring it, and whatever the Tyrants, whatever the big knights are.
Yeah. Imperial Knights, though, Canis Rex, that shooting is scary into a lot of our profiles.
Oh,
That
flat
4
4 damage. Yeah, flat 4 damage kills everything we have in one shot, except for some characters. It'll take 2.
Right. Oh,
Yeah, no,
brutal.
Canis Rex is a pain into everything.
Yeah, Canis Rex is way too cheap. Imperial Knights in general, they're at a 60% win rate. People have been talking about emergency FAQ territory. They're like, is this the point where GW steps in and FAQs them in the middle of the cycle?
Yeah, well, because they're supposed to be getting a book, so I think they've been trying to hold out to just drop the book.
Right.
But then they keep releasing these other books in front of it. So.
Yeah. I mean, if I knew I was going to like a knight heavy meta, I think I would take like at least 20 Shield Wolfmen. They're so good in the knights. They're just amazing in the knights.
And we have to be prepared for it. Black Templars coming and Grey Knights coming. If Knights get hit, Marines are going to swarm the meta again. So people are going to start bringing anti-Marine lists again, which aren't necessarily going to be great for us. Thunderwolves, you can still tech back kind of heavily into Thunderwolves, which are still a weird skew because they're not a profile most Marines have. But Marines start doing well again because Ultramarines are already doing fairly decent. I think we're going to do decent with Templars or Grey Knights coming. If Death Guard and Knights get hit, it'll be Marine time, and then I think people will start coming to counter Marines.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. Whew, well, that was a lot of discussion for Space Wolves today against some hot meta armies.
Yeah. Any other armies you guys want us to get into next week or anything? Just shoot them in the Discord or whatever. Because now that we've done all the detachments and review, that's probably what we're going to start doing next. Is like just talking about what lists we're taking to event and stuff. But like, all right, what are we having problems with? And how are we trying to solve it to help you guys? And tell us something you're having problems with, because if it's something we're not having a problem with, maybe we tell you how we deal with it. If it's something we have a problem with too, we can all just cry and bitch about it at the same time.
Brian's saying wouldn't worry about much Black Templars. Elite Oaths is not as good. I think there was one that was quite powerful, but the other looked kind of weak. We're gonna have to see the whole book.
Blood Angels, Templars, White Stars, anything that's combat Marines that isn't us should suck.
It should suck. We should definitely be not biased at all.
No. All right. So any last questions from anybody else? Anything you want to touch on before we get out of here, Aiden?
Nothing particular. Yeah, like I said, I'm preparing for an event this next couple weeks. I've got a couple playtest games this week, next week. I'm painting a good amount of stuff. How about you? Any last things you want to touch on?
No, I'll probably do a little video like Thursday or something after my Wednesday game. Just thoughts on my Champions of Fenris before I go into the event this weekend, but not too much else for tonight.
Ooh, Hogfar's got a question. Couple wolfen with death totems and the rest with storm frag. I believe, and I'll look this up for you right now. Death totem only applies to the model that has a death totem to reroll one, so it doesn't apply to the squad. I'm gonna look that up right now.
Yeah, that's possible because they've made sure they really restricted everything we have access to in the.
Yeah, so if each time the bearer makes a melee attack, reroll hit roll of the one. So I believe it does mean bearer of this war gear.
Yeah.
So only the ones that have that death totem will be able to reroll ones.
Yes, you have to roll them separately, so it's probably more of a pain than worth any kind of advantage.
Yeah, I mean, although it is interesting in Beast Slayer that with a Wolfguard Battle Leader, you can get reroll ones to hit automatically and sustained, and then you also you can take the Storm Frag launchers. Then they have lethals and sustained reroll ones to hit.
If you're giving them the Battle Leader where they already get the rerolls anyway, then yeah, just take the shots just to have the shots.
Then they're decent Overwatch, you know.
Yeah, but if they're running by themselves, yeah, just take the reroll ones. Like
totally,
they're not there to shoot stuff.
Nope, they are not.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Aiden, once again for joining me, and we will catch you guys next week.
See y'all.
Thank you for watching Almost Functional Gaming. We appreciate the support of all followers of Russ and the Allfather. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional Score Tracker on Amazon. Everything helps support the growth of this channel, and we appreciate it.
All right, that was pretty